Second. Okay, now the Pick Hollers what?
On the minutes from last month, where it says the, also in attendance, and it lists Jacob Hollers and Spencer Fain down at the bottom of that list, and that should be by Zoom. Like, no, he wasn't in person, yeah.
Also, Route 4 is also by Zoom.
She's not on there. is she? Okay.
Anybody else have anything? Pretty good, Laura.
Huh?
Is that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
Everybody's waiting on me today. No, I'm fine.
Okay,
Thank you.
I would entertain a motion for the minutes with the set changes.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign if you're opposed. Motion passed. All right. Public comment.
First person on the list is Sally Pippin.
Hi, my name is Sally Pippin. I live in Ute Village Mobile Home Park. I came before the board tonight requesting a hardship for myself because one of my renters received a hardship from the water department. And now her bill is $1,180.21. No one ever said she had to pay any of it on. They're saying I have to pay for it because I am the owner. We have talked to 3 different people from the water department and gotten 3 different answers. Most notably was that should have never happened. She should have made an attempt to make some payment on this. Had she received a shut off notice initially after whatever it is, 2-3 months, I'm not sure when that comes out, she would have made an attempt because we couldn't contact our renters when they are behind on their water bills to make sure they get paid. Because I know we have to pay them. But there's no excuse for her getting by with this long until this bill, this time, we get a sheet of paper with every one of our bills on it. This time finally has a shut off, going to shut off. This should have never happened because I cannot afford to pay this water bill. Because I pay $5,350 a month lot rents on ours, and I cannot pay her water bill. I've already paid a gas bill because it reverts back to me when they move, but she didn't move. And she just got a shut off, so I ended up paying her gas bill also. So now I have a hardship because of her water bill. So I need someone to check into this for me, see what our options are, because if that's the case, I'll have to make payments. But I don't think this should happen. I think somebody dropped the ball somewhere. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Ron Pippin.
No, he was gonna.
I know, I want to say something. I went to the water department every time that she was over 2 months late, and then it got 3 months, and I wanted it shut off. I wanted her water shut off, because if they had have shut it off, she would have found the money to pay those water bills, because she is a system user. And I don't know, I can't tell you for sure, but I think she's a druggie. But I don't understand why it went on for almost 11, it went on 11 months. I think it's going into 12. And I know you're not gonna give me an answer to that, but I just don't get it. I really don't. Why did somebody, when I asked them to shut the water off, when did you turn it off? I thank you. I hope I can get an answer from you somehow.
Can I speak? So, we talked multiple times this week.
Yes.
And,
I did tell him I can't give a definitive answer as to what the background is for this unless I talk to our billing clerk. From all indication, what he is telling you is absolutely correct. I cannot find any indication that a payment was made by her in the last 12 months. And I can't give you a really good reason as to why it wasn't shut off before now. And if that is an oversight of this office, then we absolutely will take responsibility of that. And I'm terribly sorry, and I do agree with him. I do not feel like they should be left with that burden when it's a default on this office, if that is in case the circumstances. I have made the mayor aware of the situation, as well as other board members on our board. And should that situation present itself as exactly how he gave it to you, then the town will be discussing how we make that right. Since it was a default on the part of the town, if that's what it shows. So I do want to speak to that tonight and take responsibility for that if
Thank you,
that is in case the circumstance.
thank you.
So that's what I have to give you tonight in response to that, rather than wait and give him something next month.
Thank
I feel like he's owed more than that, so.
Okay, thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Take care. Take care.
All that's on the list.
Okay, I guess we'll move on to financial report then.
No,
No?
no, we moved to new business, that's before.
Okay.
That's the qualification needed to meet. The Article 1. So this board is founded on this agreement, which is the establishing agreement, which I have given you all a copy of. This has the rules and the regulations of what is expected of the board members and who is to be on the board. If you will turn to page 4, 104 Board of Directors membership. This is made up of 5 members. This board is 5 members. If you go to 5, with number 3, with the exception of the initial board appointed in May 2013, a majority of the persons serving as directors of the board shall A, be qualified pursuant to section 104 2A of this agreement, the specified majority. Now, the description of the specified majority is on page 4, and it is 104 2A, as I stated, is a resident of the town who, prior to taking the oath of office for the authority, is registered to vote. Currently, our board is only made up of 2 residents of the town of Kiowa, and that would be President and myself. You are a designated representative, and you are as a property owner. In order for us to come back into compliance, our 3rd board member must be a resident of the town of Kiowa. Well, are you a resident of the town of Kiowa?
I fall under 2C, who is an actual person designated by the owner of real property within the boundaries of the town, which is not an actual person, to be qualified to serve on the board by such owner. Such designation must be in writing and filed with the secretary of the authority and the town clerk. Only one such person may be designated by an owner. The designation by an owner does not require that the person be appointed to the board. I was appointed by a person that falls under C.
Okay, so in order to make this board compliant with this establishing agreement, we need 3 board members to be residents of the town of Kiowa. Your qualification does not meet that criteria.
So explain to me how Tim Kraft's doing it.
He was a designated representative. We had 1. When we brought these 2 in, we went out of compliance. We should have only appointed 1 and had another town resident.
Well, it's been,
Now is the time to correct this.
it's been vetted by a litigator and a general counsel for the town of Kiowa. And the town of Kiowa board is granted the authority to fill that position.
And we are granted the authority to dismiss it. You do not have all the power over this board. This is our founding agreement.
Well, I guess we're
We
gonna have
need
to find
three
another legal
residents.
counsel to vet that then, because by legal counsel's assertion and legal advice, she is fully qualified.
She is
And
not.
she's just as qualified as Tim Crack was, the one that you guys fought so hard to keep here.
We are trying to go back into compliance with 3 residents as board members from the town of Kiowa.
Yet if we had not got rid of Tim Crack, he'd still be
That
sitting
has
here.
nothing to do with it. This is now.
Well, I am not legal counsel, so I'm not gonna make that argument. So I would suggest that we wait till legal counsel is on.
Then I would
to speak
suggest
to
she
it.
is not allowed to make any decisions or motions.
She's just as allowed as Tim Crack
No.
was to continue sitting here. and I'm sorry.
She
I hate
is
to tell you
not-
this.
Qualified to meet the criteria of this establishing agreement, Kim.
I don't,
Read it.
I'm sorry, I can't,
It is not up to
I'm not
you.
going to argue with you.
Ms. Duval, I am asking of you to submit a resignation letter effective immediately to remove yourself from this board.
I will not do that. I was interviewed by the town board. And I have I was designated by a person who falls under 2C, so I will not submit a resignation.
And I would like to make a motion to remove Ms. Duval due to her qualifications do not meet the criteria of our founding agreement, that we need 3 residents from the town of Kiowa to be on the board that was put in place so that outside interests do not overwhelm the number of board members that are here in the town of Kiowa.
Do I have a second? Well, I'll second it then. Because I think she makes a very good point. We do need to have residents. In this, this is not just for anybody to walk in, and we've already gone through this once. And I think we need to look at being in compliance with the past town trustees and the mayor set forth. I think we also need to try to adhere to the citizens of Kiowa. That is our main goal here. I don't understand why you would even take interest in something like this. It just totally blows my mind. That your residence isn't even in Kiowa or nearby. Why?
So if you're going to her to ask her that question, why didn't you ask him that question?
Tonight's the first that I've been told officially of this.
And I'm not trying to pick sides.
No, I'm not either. My side's with the town residents.
At the time that the town was appointed, we were in compliance. There was myself, you,
Well, you can put Debbie in there. She owns 4 or 5 houses as a town plus a business.
yes,
But
She
she's not,
doesn't
a
live
resident.
here.
She's not a resident.
Not anymore.
Richard.
No, she wasn't a resident.
Right.
So I'm saying, we're bringing this up, but I understand, we got rules to follow.
Yes, we do.
But we didn't look at that through this whole time when we were going through all this chaos with the before, now, why are we becoming? I understand you want to be in compliance, but that should have been talked about when we were working on getting him off. But there was a compliance that we weren't following.
True. So why not try now?
I would say we can look into doing that for sure. You want to be in compliance.
Absolutely. And I think the town residents should be more involved than a lady from another mailing address. Or another resident from another mailing address.
Well, I will tell you, we searched for 2 weeks, even on foot, going to businesses and homeowners. Nobody wants to serve on your board.
I understand that. Then I guess we're a board of 4 until such time as someone comes forward.
You're gonna have to do a poll vote of the
We're
board.
gonna have to do what?
You have to do a vote of the board for a motion.
I agree with Teresa. This is not the way to do this. that we should try to stay in compliance. This is the time to stay in, to get back into compliance. And if that means we have to be a board of four until such time, that's what we should do.
Would you like me to conduct a vote?
I can't hear you.
Would you like me to conduct a vote
Take the vote?
of the board?
Sure, absolutely.
Director Brown,
No,
President Whitman,
Yes.
Director Lowry,
Yes.
Director Wager,
No, but we look into it more.
Director Duvall.
No.
3 yeas and 2 ayes.
All right. Paul, you're up.
We need to do B under new business, the budget.
The budget.
All right, let's do the budget. Who wants?
Director Lowry and Director Brown, were your committee on the budget. Perfect.
you wanna talk about cases, you know more about the budget than I do. Oh, what went?
Yeah, it is. It
Oh,
was behind. I just pulled it out. It was behind, what would have been the information from an email for your email addresses and tablets. Behind the RFP, looks like this.
I know it looks
Oh, you
like,
got it right there.
In the
Oh.
very back.
I see.
Right in front of that. Rest right here, right?
So we worked on this committee together, Kim, Laurel and I. We upped some of our budgets as in, let's see. Went back and forth, you think I know by heart. So. Where are the ones that we up to?
Huh?
The ones that we upped from last year.
Let's see.
Let's see here.
Isn't it the utilities, the power and the water and sewer power, things like that? On the second page.
So you did increase your budget from, on legal, from 12,000 to 20,000.
Okay,
Let's see. You increased your postage from 2,000 to 3,000, because we're figuring by the end of the year, you've spent about $2,950 on postage this year. Things have gone up. You did increase the hauling, from 6,000 to 10,000.
good with that.
You added a line under accounting, for 2,000. We increased the auditor from 8,500 to 9,000. We removed, IT, because that cost is included in the, operating agreement. You increased ORC from 55,000 to 62,000.
We increased the legal authority to 20,000.
Correct. You added a line item for web designer for $300.
We increased the infrastructure for sewer to 50,
Yes,
the infrastructure maintenance for water to 50.
correct.
The utilities heat pump out, we took that one out. Correct?
Correct.
And the utilities town hall, we took that out.
Correct. You increased, see, specific use supplies from 2,500 to 3,625. You can, yeah,
Yes.
utility notifications to 7:25.
I believe those are the changes that we.
Yeah, I agree.
And this is what our budget looks like for 2025.
I will have closer expected end of year amounts by the December meeting. So if you want to make a final decision on this in December, we'll have closer numbers for the end of the year.
Yes.
So this is just a rough draft,
This is the proposed right now.
We get to the end of the year.
so we don't need to do anything else with this as far as a vote.
Yeah, you can approve the draft budget as form right now. With expectations of those, some of those numbers may change for end of year numbers by December.
Yeah.
Those could go either up or down, depending on.
Should we make a motion to approve it? So, I'll make a motion to approve the draft, proposed 2025 budget with expectations that it will move up or down towards
Yes,
the end of the year.
Final numbers, yeah. for end of year. Mhm.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion as far as the rough draft? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay. Now we'll go back to staff. Paul, you're up.
So we had a little setback at the sewer plant. The influent pumps that pump the wastewater up to the basins. Had a huge hornet's nest in the box and it shorted out the pumps. So we pulled out one pump so far and it's in the shop to get the motors rewound. The bearings wound, whatever it is, the winding's done. And then as soon as that one comes back, then we'll swap it out and get another one in there. In the meantime, we are sending water to the lagoon at this point. And then the other thing is the school, the new building that they're doing, they're trying to tie into the water main. And they actually had to do some potholing at a little extra expense on the town's part because the drawings just weren't showing it accurately. So they did finally find it today.
Where was it?
It's, so on Cheyenne, when you're almost to the parking lot to the elementary school.
Yeah.
There's a house on the north side. It actually goes, turns north towards their property and actually goes under their fence. It's about 3 or 4 feet, I think, inside their fence. So I don't know if that's their property and there's an easement through that property or if that fence is not on their property. But either way, they won't have to disturb that portion, but they will be in that front yard where that fence is. And that's probably where they're gonna tie in or tie in the street and then take it over to the new school building. So,
I assume they're gonna do all the patch back and
Yes.
everything.
yeah, but again, this is on the water authority's dime. So the school paid initially to have them hunt for it and because they had 2 conflicting drawings through the town. They couldn't find it. And then I talked to Kim and let her know that we were gonna have to pay the extra to have them start at the main where we actually knew where it was and kind of go back until they found it, trace it out. So,
That's another update to that map now.
yes,
So we're paying for this?
yes, it was, so it was $3,400 for them to do the potholing to find this main. Plus the time for Reese to be out there while they did it. And then to the patchwork when they're done. And we've talked to, I've been trying to get High Plains to update some of our maps so that we can try and eliminate all of this, but they're kind of busy right now, I guess. So we're on their list.
Monthly report.
How's their hydrant situation going?
So we don't start flushing just yet. But as soon as we do, that should take a couple days. And then everything else on the water side is good right now.
What about the issue with the people coming and getting water without using a meter?
As far as I know, that's not been an issue, but I mean, we're only here part-time. So when we are here, we can drive around and look, but if they steal it while we're not around. But we are checking all the locks on the hydrants to make sure they stay locked. Not all of the hydrants have locks on it yet. We still need to buy more. If you guys want to approve that, I can buy more to finish up the rest of them. I think it's gonna be 50 more locks. And the device that goes on the hydrant and then the padlock itself.
And what are the costs of that?
I'd have to look it up. I think the last time it was like 150 or 200 just for the locks.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, those are
expensive, yeah.
Yeah, and then the actual device that goes on the hydrant, that was another like $160 or $200 per device. So we can keep doing it in stages where we do so many per year if you want. Or see how many,
Are a lot of these hydrants located in areas that are easily accessible by somebody who's going to?
well, the idea when we first did it was to put in all the hydrants that were kind of around the corner that people couldn't see, but like the ones that are in Pond Valley, hopefully somebody that lives there would say, hey, call a town and say, hey, somebody's taking water.
We've never gotten any phone calls about any other really than the one at Nordham.
Yeah, so
It's a
that's,
big issue.
that's why we try to put them around the park and
Mhm.
so.
And I haven't run into anything, and I've had no reports of anything since the last issue.
Yeah. As long as the fire department has keys,
They do,
so.
yeah, so they don't cut them off, they have a key.
Water loss was down to a minimum.
I don't know what the water loss is after any bulk water sold.
I don't have those reports. Sasha is not here, so she did not include those reports for you. She'll have them for you at the October 8th meeting. Did you have anything specific with your systems report?
No, I don't think so. And then I think the water loss was only like 24% before bulk water sold.
Okay.
So
So the white elephant is the Farmer State Bank.
yes, so I'm waiting on 2 bids. We already got 1 bid from Reese. And then Unbridled is supposed to give us a bid. I have to call them and see where that's at. And then CNC Excavating was gonna give a bid. So I have to call them and ask them where those are at.
Okay. Exactly what is it we're gonna dig up?
So we are going to, there is a little belly in the sewer main near or right where their tap is, where they connect into the sewer main. So we're gonna raise that up. So they'll have to cut the pipe on either side and raise it up and put some compaction underneath it to get rid of the belly. And then they're going to verify the slope from the property owner's cleanouts back to the tap to make sure that it does slope towards the main. And they're also gonna verify the slope once they finish making their repair to make sure that the main slope is still good. And then they're gonna TB both of those areas to make sure that it's all clear and looks good. So that's what the bids are for. And I think Reese's, well, I probably shouldn't say what the prices are yet, but it's not bad. It's pretty reasonable for all of that work.
Reese's Iconic Excavating.
Yes.
Are we in compliance with you having to dump the sewer in the lagoon?
Yeah, I just have to report it as a spill, even though that used to be your treatment system.
Anything, anybody have anything? Oh. All right, thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome. Kim, you're next.
I needed to report that you have received all your records from White Bear in one mass zip file, so they have been downloaded and received. As well as a formal, termination letter.
From White Bear?
Yes,
Okay.
and, Spencer Fane, sent one yesterday as well. So we have that, and I believe there's the final check in there, for Teresa.
Would you sign it?
Yeah. Let's see. I've included in your packets a memorandum from me to your board addressing public comment from the August 13th meeting that I would like to read to you and put into record. Board of the Directors, the Kiowa Water and Wastewater Authority. A little background on us on the August 13th, 2024. During the Kiowa Water and Wastewater Authority Board monthly meeting, Debbie Olin made specific public comment per the attached document from Ms. Olin to the following effect. Number one, there's no record of the town of Kiowa filing a 2025 eligibility survey for funding that was due by June 30th on behalf of KWWA. As a citizen and taxpayer of Kiowa, not as a previous board member, I verified with Eric Worker of the CDPHE that the water and wastewater survey had not been done, and that Kimberly Boyd is the contact listed and responsible party. Number two, the current town administrator was involved in our previous discussions about sewer options with a previous facilities manager, Bobby Chevaria. This was during the time that the fairground/campground updates installations were being done. Discussions included the similarity to the trailer park that pays a monthly minimum per site for water and sewer. Tasha Chevaria was the town clerk at the time, so Sasha would not have known. The board discussed concerns about the county allowing people to dump their RV tanks when traveling through or returning from a trip. Bobby confirmed that the county was not interested in spending the kind of money on taps and a monthly fee. The email attached was sent out after we confirmed that the county has a tank and charges citizens to dump there. Why would KWWA take on this without charging tap fees and monthly fees, just like the trailer park? If the county wants to run a campground with amenities, then it should pay just like anyone else. These documents are attached to this memo for reference. Number three, the audit should have been completed in a timely manner and approved by the board prior to submission. Ronnie Farmer has always previously met with the board to discuss any concerns prior to acceptance of the audit. The KWWA audit and Board of Trustees audit were both submitted without board approval. Number four, why was KWWA paying for White Bear to confer with town special counsel, Mr. Poppy? Since this involved the operating agreement, well agreement, water rights, and de-annexation, why did KWWA pay those instead of the town of Kiowa? That was their legal fight, not KWWA. I do believe KWWA should ask for reimbursement of these charges. Upon analysis, in response to number one, on August 22nd, 2024, Mr. Worker, project manager in the Grants and Loans unit of the CDPHE, confirmed his conversation with Ms. Olam a couple weeks prior. There's also that email attached to this memo. However, Ms. Olam neglected to include context to the effect that she was told the town is on the current 2024 DWRF project eligibility list and 2024 WPCRF project eligibility list. And that even though they did not receive a survey for the 2025 project eligibility list this year, the projects currently listed would be carried over to the 2025 unchanged. Meaning, what that means is if we're not adding projects or taking away projects, it's unchanged and the previous eligibility survey stands. Further, he did confirm for her that I am listed as the point of contact for the town and further gave me instruction on how to opt in to the Water Quality Control Division's messaging page to receive the communications regarding funding opportunities or the annual eligibility surveys. It would seem Ms. Olam is clearly still receiving these communications as the previous authority president, and rather passing them on to the correct point of contact to assure no proverbial ball is dropped with regard to potential funding to the KWWA, she's holding on to them and utilizing them to make baseless, disparaging public comment at monthly meetings, which clearly does not show a concern for her previous board nor the citizens of this community. Number two, taken from the minutes for the February 8th, 2022 monthly meeting of the KWWA reflect the following. Debbie Olam asked the board to consider how they would want to handle the campgrounds at the fairgrounds having water and sewer hookups at each individual campsite. Would they require a monthly sewer fee for each site or a bulk fee for use? Tim Kraft proposed that a demand study be done to determine feasibility. This will also be discussed at the February workshop. Said workshop was scheduled and held by Ms. Olam and Ms. Olam alone, with no town staff involvement. The evening of Monday, February 21st, 2022. There was no staff present during the conversation of said workshop. Further, due to Ms. Olam facilitating and conducting the workshop alone, there's no recording nor minutes of this meeting, which was not an uncommon practice for Ms. Olam during her tenure as president of the board. Upon speaking with Tasha Chevaria after the August 13, 2024 monthly meeting, she remembered the subject being dropped by Ms. Olam because it was decided at this workshop that making it a requirement for the fairgrounds to have water and sewer hookups at each site was, quote, not reasonable, and their water use was already being tracked. Ms. Olam is coming to the public comment of the current KWWA board and making assertions regarding subject matter that is pertinent during her time of the KWWA board. Indeed, the subject was of interest in February 2022, when Ms. Olam was still president of the board, but she only now is making issue. If this is indeed an oversight on the part of the KWWA board or even the staff in this office, which it was not, why did Ms. Olam not pursue the matter then? One can only surmise that it stopped being an issue after the workshop she conducted on February 21st of 2022. Number 3. After conferring with Mr. Farmer, auditor for the town and KWWA since 2008, concerning this public comment from Ms. Olam, I learned he has conducted the annual audits of both entities at the same time each year for just under 20 years. He did confirm that there were years he attended a monthly board meeting to give a report of his findings for the previous year. But there have been a couple times he's not. With the 2023 audits, there was much back and forth conversation between myself, Mr. Farmer, and the QuickBooks specialist concerning many aspects of the financials, but the conversations mostly centralized around the way in which Ms. Olam set both entities up in QuickBooks and how neither met the requirements of a public entity, but rather a privately run business, such as she would set up her own. Further, he said he had voiced this concern to Ms. Olam for many years, but despite these conversations, his professional advice was ignored. Aside from this fact, though, the audits of both entities have always been done at the same time each year and have met the statutory requirements of the state and other pertinent governmental agencies, apart from 2021 and 2022, wherein the town was transitioning with their administration. The 2023 audit took longer than anticipated to complete due to the numerous revisions needed to the restructuring of the QuickBooks accounts by a QuickBooks specialist and myself, and to both entities. In 2022, when Ms. Olam advised the town and the authority board how much more simplified the accounting would be by moving to QuickBooks from Cassell, she seemingly did not take into account the fact that neither entity can be set up as a personal business, such as her own, rather than a nonprofit or a public entity. This caused several issues with completing the audit and required more time and money to restructure the books to allow general fund account numbers once again, categories, etc., that would match up to the auditors. Despite the extension of time it took to correct the issues caused by Ms. Olam, both audits were submitted by deadline with all required regulatory agencies and state departments. Further, due to the extensive time spent on making these revisions, there was little doubt about errors on the part of the auditor, which only left the boards the formality of accepting the audits as they were presented. Lastly, assertions made at the August 13, 2024 monthly KWWA meeting by previous KWWA board member, Director Tim Kraft, that the authority is under a requirement to have legal counsel approval for such are inaccurate. This may be true for private entities, such as Mr. Kraft's companies, but is not for public entities. General counsel would have no productive direct input into the financial activity reporting made by a board certified auditor, any more than the auditor would for a state bar licensed attorney's legal work. His assertion was baseless and simply proposed unnecessary costs to be further incurred by both boards. Number 4, the only invoicing from White Bear et al. That gives indication of communication with Mr. Poppy, town special counsel, was in April of 2024, and it seemingly centered around the open records request being made on behalf of Mr. Kraft's personal attorney, Diane Miller, and Mr. Kraft's erroneous complaint filed on April 4th, 2024, against the town of KWWA board and the KWWA board, his own board, concerning those same 4 requests. Further, Ms. Boyd has indeed questioned the billing practices of White Bear et al. On record numerous times to the KWWA board, but those arguments concerning the overbilling seemingly fell on deaf ears to the majority of the board. It would seem more appropriate to ask for reimbursement from Mr. Kraft than White Bear et al., since it was his legal filings against his own board that necessitated Mr. Poppy's involvement with White Bear et al. My recommendation is that this memorandum is advisory only and no additional actions required by your board. That's all I have. We did skip the financials.
Do you have anything else?
I do not, sir.
Okay. Sacha's not here, so we'll,
What to do, financials.
oh,
Skipped it, yeah, we skipped it.
oops. Guess we better go to financials. Sorry. Go ahead.
I have a question, Tim. It's 7140 taxes and licenses. So what came in that we paid for that? I didn't see
So all the
that.
CDPHE permitting
Okay,
invoicing came in, and that's all paid online. There were 3 permits that came in from CDPHE.
that's the only. I can see that was out.
Okay.
Do you have anything?
Yes, I was just gonna talk about the, bills and the termination letter from Spencer Fane. We got, a termination letter, of official one, and then
Do
we
you have
got,
anything on the financials?
this isn't a financials.
We're doing the.
Oh, I thought you were done with that.
I'm just, we would have to approve them.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay.
Do you have anything on financials?
No.
Okay. Brett?
No.
Jill? Do we need a motion? To accept it?
Yes, sir.
Please, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second,
Is there any discussion? All right, all in favor of accepting the financials as they've been reported, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now. Help me out, where are we at?
Believe we moved to old business,
I'm sorry?
old business.
Oh, good.
Okay, old business.
I'm starting with CRS, the CRS contract.
Okay. PRS contract termination of operating agreement with Town of Kiowa. We have a. Took a vote. How long ago did we take this vote?
June.
June. To go with the town, we'll go with the CRS. When our operating agreement is over with on October 7th. That's about all I know. Fill me in.
So are we in compliance? You've approved it to sign the CRS contract tonight?
I have some comments first. Okay. The voting to terminate the Town of Kiowa operating agreement and hire CRS were retaliatory and revenge tactics against the Town of Kiowa by certain board members to take over and control the financial operational functions of KWWA by replacing the Town of Kiowa with CRS. Hiring CRS would be devastating to KWWA and the citizens of Kiowa, since CRS has a proven track record to be a corrupt entity in Elbert County and Colorado for years. I voted against both of those at that time, and I still feel that they are not appropriate to finalize. I would like to make a motion to rescind the letter terminating the operating agreement with the Town of Kiowa and to rescind the contract to hire CRS as administration for Kiowa. KWWA.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor and a second. Is there any discussion?
You're welcome.
Director Brown,
Yes.
President Whitman,
No.
Director Parker. No. Director Wager,
Yes.
Director DeBall,
Yes,
3 ayes and 2 nays.
Motion
good?
carried.
Yes, sir. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I didn't know you were waiting on me.
Yes. All right, general counsel legal representation, RFP.
Okay, so I did put the RP out. It was out approximately 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. We had no bids on that through BidNet. It was highly disappointing. I really thought we'd at least get one. Because it did go out to at least 84 firms in this area of Colorado. As I explained in the email when I gave you guys a heads up that we got no responses. And notoriously, it seems to be even with the town, when we put things out, Kiowa is perceived as being way out on the eastern plains
Right.
and really far out of reach. And the fact that we're a very small rural town, I guess without any further inquiry, would give the impression that we don't have budgets that, you know, would benefit them in taking work this far out. I'm only surmising that that's could possibly be an issue, but, fact of the matter is we didn't receive any.
Did you happen to reach out to, Lisa Mayers with Spectra Fame?
No, I saw that she was on our agenda last month. And I did send that through the BidNet program. When you
Sure.
post the RFP, you can send it through there. And it went directly, so it went directly to them, not just to the BidNet environment, but to whoever we specifically put in there. And there was no response from them either.
I reached out to them and they said they were gonna fill it out, but I have not heard.
I have
I
not
said
heard
yesterday,
anything.
so
Did you send them the RFP?
I did. So
Okay.
he said she was working on it.
Oh, okay. So okay, so they're not, you know, they.
I don't know.
Okay, I
I
haven't
just have
gotten
to
it.
see if they had submitted it, to see if it had gone through.
Okay.
I have not heard.
All right, I haven't heard anything yet either.
Go ahead.
I was gonna, sorry, I was gonna suggest that, we reach out to Lise Bourne.
Conflict of interest.
Well, I don't really think it is, and especially after what we've been through with conflict of interest before, but, she has all of the qualifications and, would be very qualified to be on both boards. You're saying no?
I'm saying it's a huge conflict of interest to have the same legal counsel for the water board and the town board.
We ran into that before and
Yes.
we were told that that's a conflict of
It's a
interest.
conflict of interest.
Cause when initially we started this board, we were gonna use the same. Legal counsel and they said we couldn't. Yeah.
Who said you couldn't? I'm just asking.
That was legal counsel.
2013, and who was that? Who
I don't know the name.
I can't remember.
Okay, I don't know, I wasn't, obviously.
Yeah.
Either.
I was,
So,
I couldn't tell you, but that's what we were told. Now, I'm not legal.
right,
I don't, but that's what I was told.
well, can we reach out to someone else and get that
Yeah.
resolved, that issue?
I
To
can-
find out if Ruth would be a conflict of interest?
Sure, I
Sure.
can do some research into that. I can
Okay.
look, I think I have records going that far back for when you guys, it wasn't Raleigh, it was somebody else. And I
Spencer
think
Fane was. our-
Yeah, well, no, there was someone before
Yeah, I
Spencer.
just
It was
couldn't
somebody
find it, but they were in
before that.
2013.
So have you Spencer Fane before?
Yes.
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
I'm
2013 and 14, and I'm not sure about 15.
All right, I'll go back and look and
Yeah.
see who the previous, I did find some records on the previous attorney before
Sure.
George, so I'll see if I can find
Or
anything with that regard.
just touch base with someone else that can answer that question,
Okay,
you know,
I'll see what
I
I
mean,
can,
there be any conflict.
okay,
All right.
I would think that maybe it'd be a good idea to run this in the ranch lands, just to throw it out in our area.
okay.
Wouldn't hurt to publish it.
I'll give it to them, what's today, Tuesday? So I'll get it to them tomorrow, it will go out next Thursday then.
Okay. Fairground taps. Nobody's here.
They're not here, and I'll tell you why. The fairground has made the executive decision to meet a statutory requirement placed on them, I guess, for RV parks,
Okay,
to install a leach field just on the other side of the fence in county jurisdiction.
okay.
So they've decided to go that route and stop messing with me.
I think that'll make a lot of people happy.
So I was just recently advised of that, so that's why they're not here.
Okay. I guess, Kim, can you tell us more about the dedicated KWWA email address and tablets for the board members?
Sure. I had, told you guys, or at least sent out a suggestion that your board as well, just like the town board, move to dedicated email addresses that are specific to the water authority. Because using your personal email addresses, which I understand you've done for years, opens you up to a lot of liability. Should somebody submit a subpoena or for a request looking for specific communications, that would open them up to your private emails and your email accounts.
But doesn't it also, even these are open? to
So
requests?
they are, yes, absolutely. But if we utilize a dedicated email address just for the water board, only the communications used on that would be board related. So there would be no need for them to look at your private email addresses since they are not the ones you utilized in the course of business. So that, it was just a suggestion on my part that you move to that kind of for a protection measure. As I stated, that those are $7.20 per email address at the most a month. And,
Is that per month?
yeah, $7.20 per month, so it's approximately 30 something dollars. And I asked them to also give me a price on what dedicated iPads for each one of you with that email address would look like, and they said they can get them for $348 a piece. The maintenance plan or the plan, if you guys have an issue with it, you need to call in and get advice on how to get back in it or whatever, is $2 per device a month.
So this is a monthly rental on these?
The $2 is,
Now the 348.
nope, that's a total cost for the actual device, and that's it.
Is this comparable to what, town of Kiowa is using, or?
The town of Kiowa is using Android based tablets. I'm also gonna talk to them at our meeting about moving to these iPads because they don't have the specific business manager program that I'm talking about, where you can get the service plan on it if you have an issue with it. And it also makes that having an Apple iPad with that business manager on there makes it specific to your board and not to you as an individual. That's what was explained to me by IT.
Any thoughts?
Well, I definitely was concerned when I got on the board that I was using my own personal email. When the town of Kiowa had their own town emails and things.
I have the town email addresses linked to their names on the website. So if anytime a citizen or somebody else wants to contact you directly, seeking a way to do that, right now, I'll contact you and ask you for your permission, or tell you their information to get a hold of them, because I won't give out personal email addresses.
No,
or
I will tell
personal
you
phone
that
numbers.
my line of work won't let me keep that. it'll have to stay at home.
Well, that's what the board does as well.
Okay.
You know, they don't take it anywhere that they go, to the best of my knowledge.
Right.
They keep it at home, and when I send them packets or any information pertaining to the town, I shoot them a text message and say, please check your emails. I do that because I don't think they regularly check them unless I tell them to look for
I
something.
recognized you sent me a text along with the email, and it's like, well, you double, you know,
Well, sometimes you guys, I don't know about Laura. Laura doesn't do text messaging.
right,
So I know if I send her an email, she checks her email regularly because she doesn't text message.
sure,
But I know you guys text messaging, you don't have access, to the best of my knowledge, 24/7 on your emails.
oh, I do.
Okay, well, I don't, so, because I don't know that, I want to cover all my
Yeah.
bases and make sure you guys don't.
No, I have to be accessible 24/7.
Okay. All right, so.
Any thoughts?
I think it's a good idea to go to that email, not instead of using our own
Right.
person. What was your reasoning not to, maybe?
I just have so many
Stuff attached to your own email.
at home, just one more
To keep up with,
computer. That's what
I
really
get that
interests
from a
me.
lot of the town board members too. As well, though, we're gonna have to cut down on the copy costs.
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
already letting the town board know that they're gonna have to start utilizing their tablets. To get their packets and read their packets, because their packet this month is over 100 pages, and times 7 people, that's really expensive, and we're spending in excess of 350, 400.
So do these iPads, if you send me a package. Since you don't want to do any copying, because I love paper.
I
do.
know.
I like notes. Is it in a format that I can go through and edit it and make notes on it?
You
Have to
should
be in a PDF.
No, I
it'll-
don't want it in PDF,
Well, that's. what we
Unless it
should-
has the Adobe, you know,
I don't know, I can ask them about that. I know that when I get your packet compiled together, I then scan it into one document
Mhm.
and it comes out a PDF.
Yeah.
I can ask them if they can put a reader on there that allows notes, or I'm not familiar with that. I'm not a techie person.
Yeah.
But I was looking at, trustee, Howard made the suggestion that there are Bluetooth keypads that double as a, they fold like a folder over them to
Mhm.
protect them, but they also double as a keypad. And what, IT was showing me today, it would set up just like a laptop like this sideways, and you would be able to type into it and do, notes on it and such, so.
because if
I could
you're
do
not
some more
printing
inquiring.
out, I need to be able to make notes.
Well, we would have to increase the cost of the copies with regard to the agreement at some point then, because it's killing us on the cost of the copies. The majority of the copies coming out of this office are all for the meetings. And they're just getting higher and higher every month. We pay for a standard amount that they suggest our regular usage is, and we keep going over that and paying increased cost over that, so.
Okay, so are you saying that if we go with these pads, because I'm a note taker too, and I like. So, can it be sent in a PDF form and then an Adobe or whatever?
What I could do is I can split up the documents going into that one packet.
There's no need, I have a printer at home, I'll just print my own stuff out.
Okay.
I mean, I can do that too, because like I said, I like to. I'm a paper person too.
Because if you're not gonna supply any more paper copies, I need a way to print them.
Okay.
Or edit.
We just need to find a way to cut back. If the packets are gonna continue getting bigger or stay this size, then we've got to do something with it.
All right, what's your guys' flavor?
Do we wanna wait till we get some more information from Kim before
It's up to
we
you guys.
make the decision, or? I mean,
Sorry,
I'm
you
for
guys.
the whole process basically, but I mean, I don't know if we need to, get any more information or. Should we?
I can look into what Teresa's asking about as
Okay.
far as the ability to make notes alongside of what she's giving.
I just didn't know what this consists of. Is it just email and I can open up a document and that's it? What else? What other applications are on?
I'll have to ask them. I'm not familiar with their tablets and what they utilize them for with the town board, but they are
The young
tablets.
lady's got.
Howard.
I'm sorry, Terry.
I'm not a fan of them, but I'm a paper person as well. When she sends us the information on those tablets, we can download them into PDF, and on our system, Android has some other document, something that's very similar to what's on Windows. So you can go in and edit, or you can set it up to print. I don't like them because to me, it's like my phone. You know, it's this big and I'm hunting and pecking, trying to type a reply to an email. But Kim suggested that they have keyboards that will go to it. I would be happy with that. But yes, you can download everything, and anything she sends me specific to the town, I keep it on that tablet and download it. And depending on, iPad's gotta have something, if Android has it, that you can go in and edit and such. So
Or can you
That's
print
just-
from it? Can you print from that though too?
you can do a wireless printer from it. I have not done that yet. I go through this
I don't either. I don't
I don't
have.
have where.
I go through this whole spell where I check everything on email and anything that I need to print out. I send it to myself, my personal email, then I can print it off my laptop. It's probably,
On bouncing. between
I know, it's
devices.
probably much more work than needed,
Yeah.
but that's what I do. I'm not tech savvy either, so
I don't, well, I am. A little bit,
I know what you mean. I've got
but I need to be. able to
5
look
different
at it
email
different.
accounts I have to check,
Yeah,
and yeah, it gets overwhelming.
it's, I just need to know what kind of ports are on the side, if you could ask them
Ports on the side?
what the ports on the side are, so I can go ahead and connect up to printers.
Okay.
Do we wanna wait then, table this until we get all the information to make sure it'll work?
I'm fine
or-
with that.
Is that okay?
I'm in favor of it
Well, I'm in favor too, but
and the emails, but we can.
what about the details? though?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're tabling this?
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if we need to talk about Farmer State Bank more, or if there's something else or additional.
I think we covered that with
Under Paul.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think it was a duplicate.
So now we're down to
Project
project
needs
needs assessment.
final review.
okay,
I need to get that moving with them so we can just keep moving in the process. We're at a stalemate right now.
So we were discussing before everybody came in, the line items. From what I can remember, the only things we changed were like the contact names. They were nothing of context.
Right. They did not tell me they changed anything of context. We didn't request any
I didn't
change of
think so.
context of the report.
And I thought we had already approved this to send that back to them like this.
We did, and then they sent it to me and said, does your board want to review one more time before we start uploading it?
Yeah.
And that's why I sent it to you again.
But, okay, so if we do it again, like you were saying, maybe we don't need the new sewer plant. Well, is that gonna have any effect on this if we down the line say,
No,
we don't want this, we don't need the green sand, we don't need the new sewer plant?
you're well within your right to remove those things from there. But even with the cost estimate that you have, it doesn't move you to another bracket.
No, it doesn't.
No,
We are at over 5.7
yes.
on this.
Yeah, and with the
Well,
grant matching to it and taking it down $1 million, you're not, it doesn't move you to another
it
loan.
doesn't, yeah, it
So you
doesn't.
don't have to start over again. You can keep this process moving forward. But you do have the option of, saying, we don't want to do that part.
Along the line.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so just to keep this moving.
Yes,
we're
ma'am.
good. Cause I really hate reading through that.
I don't understand why. It's ridiculous. It's a novel.
anything else on the project needs assessment? Anybody have any?
So we make a motion with.
Yeah.
So
And I'll let them know tomorrow they can start uploading it.
I make a motion to go ahead and resend that back to the right, is it the right engineers?
Yes, Redwater.
Right, water.
E&A. Right water, sorry.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to resubmit it. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passed. Farmer State Bank, we're gonna skip over that.
Yes.
We already talked about the proposed budget. Is there anything more on that? All right, correspondence and discussion.
It's you, Laura.
okay, I think it's very fitting and very patriotic if we include the Pledge of Allegiance before each one of our meetings, like the town does. I think that's very important.
Okay.
So I would make a motion that we will include the Pledge of Allegiance before each one of our meetings.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
You sound so positive. Okay, any discussion? All right, all those in favor of saying the pledge of allegiance before we get started, or after I open the meeting, say aye.
Aye,
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
thank you.
I will need some help on B because I'm not sure what that's all about.
Okay, there is continued issue with the town's website and what is available regarding both boards on the website. And, first, I need you to know that our web designer is actually the project manager and director of the accessibility project put down by the state. So she's not a standalone, work behind her desk in her home web designer that does this on the side. She's actually the one that is hands-on with this House bill and the directive coming down from the governor. So I can't think of anybody better to give the directive or the advice on what is compliant and what is not compliant with regard to the website. We are working toward a few things to make items that people are wanting to see, needing to see more accessible on there. There just are different ways that they have to be put on the website so that they meet the requirements of the governor's office. And please know that this is only happening in Colorado. It is not happening in any other state. And it's costing public entities lots of money to do this. The town did just receive a grant from SIPA, which is the state internet provider, which is who gave us the money to get the new website. So we have money that will go toward this mitigation that's required to bring it digitally accessible. But in response to the continued complaints concerning the website, I had our web designer, Trisha Coberly, write you a memo so that you are aware of what they are and what she's doing to address them. In case this becomes before you by citizens, voicing the same thing I'm getting in the office. To the Kiowa Water and Wastewater Authority Board. Regarding the mandatory accessibility compliance for government entities, to whom it may concern. The critique of the town of Kiowa and Kiowa Water and Wastewater Authority's approach to transparency, particularly regarding the accessibility and availability of digital materials on the town of Kiowa's website, requires clarification in light of the legal obligations and financial realities the town faces. Number one, compliance with Colorado law. The town of Kiowa and Kiowa Water and Wastewater Authority has fully complied with the requirements set forth by Colorado House Bill 21-1110 and House Bill 24-1454. These laws mandate that all government websites must be accessible to individuals with disabilities and adhere to the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG 2.1 AA standards. The compliance is not optional, but a legal necessity, aimed at ensuring equitable access to online content for all residents, including those with disabilities. In order to meet these requirements, the town of Kiowa and the Kiowa Water Wastewater Authority undertook a significant effort to remediate digital materials on its website. This process included remediating documents from the years 2022, 2023, and 2024. The decision to limit the availability of materials to the current year plus 2 years back was not made lightly. It was a necessary measure due to the high costs associated with document remediation, which must be balanced against the town's budgetary constraints. Number two, financial realities and risk management. While transparency is a core value of the town of Kiowa and Kiowa Water and Wastewater Authority, the town of Kiowa and the Kiowa Water and Wastewater Authority must also be fiscally responsible. The cost of remediating all historical documents to meet accessibility standards is prohibited. Providing unremediated documents on a website poses a significant legal risk, including the possibility of fines and lawsuits, which could further strain the town of Kiowa and the Kiowa Water and Wastewater Authority's financial resources. Therefore, older documents were archived and removed from the website to mitigate these risks. This approach is in line with the town of Kiowa and the Kiowa Water and Wastewater Authority's commitment to both transparency and legal compliance. It is important to note that the town of Kiowa and the Kiowa Water and Wastewater Authority has taken proactive steps to comply with the law, including leveraging financial assistance from the micro grant program to aid in their remediation efforts. This positions the town of Kiowa and the Kiowa Water and Wastewater Authority grossly far ahead of many other local governments, many of which have yet to begin addressing these requirements. Number three, transparency through accessibility. Transparency does not solely mean making all historical documents available online, especially when doing so would violate state laws regarding accessibility. True transparency includes ensuring that all citizens, including those with disabilities, can access the information that is made available. In working with the town of Kiowa and the Kiowa Water and Wastewater Authority, it is clear that both entities are committed to this inclusive approach, which aligns with the spirit of both the Colorado Anti-Discrimination Act and the Americans with Disability Act. Number 4, comparative transparency. While the town of Elizabeth and Elbert County may provide extensive records, it is important to recognize that each municipality operates within its own financial legal context, and an evaluation of both of these websites indicates they are grossly out of compliance. While the deadline has not yet been reached, it is quickly approaching, and these entities have not begun to remediate their websites or their documents. Significant changes or financial commitment, or both, are likely to be employed soon. The town of Kiowa and the Kiowa Water and Wastewater Authority's approach to transparency is tailored to its unique circumstances, prioritizing compliance with state law and the equitable treatment of all residents. The town of Kiowa and Kiowa Water and Wastewater Authority remains committed to providing accessible information and will continue to refine its processes to ensure that it meets the needs of its residents while adhering to legal standards. The availability of more recent documents online, coupled with the option to request older records through the open records request process, demonstrates the town of Kiowa and Kiowa Water and Wastewater Authority's ongoing commitment to transparency within the framework of legal and financial responsibility. In conclusion, the town of Kiowa and the Kiowa Water and Wastewater Authority's approach to managing its online records is both legally compliant and fiscally responsible. By focusing on providing accessible, up-to-date information while mitigating legal risk, the town of Kiowa and the Kiowa Water and Wastewater Authority are not only meeting but exceeding its obligations under Colorado law. This ensures that all citizens, including those with disabilities, have equitable access to the information they need. She closes in offering you the ability to reach out to her if you have any questions, or also reach out to your legal counsel for further clarification of accessibility laws. I will let you know that those that are currently facing litigation for not being in compliance are looking at $30,000 to $40,000 per case in defending themselves. These House bills have put these municipalities and these public entities in really bad situations. So that's all I have.
Anybody else have anything that needs to come before this board? All right, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned.